You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Well, an amazing thing happened today. The Supreme Court has overturned affirmative action with college admissions. I'm going to go through the details of this with Kathy in a bit, but this is an amazing thing, okay? Donald Trump overturned affirmative action in college admissions. This would not have happened if he did not have these great appointments to the Supreme Court. And now President Trump has overturned both Roe v. Wade and affirmative action. These two issues are the two biggest issues that Republicans have been trying to get done for as long as I can remember. Donald Trump overturned both Roe v. Wade and affirmative action. They're both gone forever. And these Republican establishment snakes like Paul Ryan think we're better off without Donald Trump. He's accomplished like the whole Republican Party. The Republicans got to come up with a new platform because Donald Trump has accomplished the whole thing.
And Brian, he's not even in office right now.
And hasn't been for over 2 years.
And he's accomplished this. I think, and I've said this before, I think his Supreme Court is going to be his greatest accomplishment ever in the history of his presidency. And there's going to be people, of course, that are going to want to downplay that and poo-poo that and not give him credit. But you're right. The problem with the Republicans is they're rhinos and they're really Democrats. They're only Republicans on TV.
Yeah.
And they never want to get any of this stuff overturned because they have a different way of thinking. And Trump actually appointed people that did this and took care of this. And it's an amazing thing. You got the Roe v. Wade. You're right. The two biggest issues that we have been dealing with since you and I were born. Pretty much. Well, affirmative action came around when in the 90s?
No, it's been around. No, it's longer.
When was it? When was it?
There's been affirmative action since the civil rights movement. It's all
these two issues have been around for decades. Like you said, 50, 60 years.
The Republicans have
huge issues
since the 70s. The Republicans have talked about two main things.
Yep,
overturning Roe v. Wade and ending affirmative action. Trump did it. Well, let me go through the story. The Supreme Court. This is in the Daily Mail. The Supreme Court has banned colleges from using race as a factor when admitting students in a landmark ruling on affirmative action today. The justices in a 6-3 vote voted that the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill's race-based affirmative action admission policy is unconstitutional. They also ruled 6-2 that Harvard's admission policy should be struck down in a decision sending shockwaves nationwide. Is the Harvard one where the liberals that run Harvard were upset that there were too many Asians getting into Harvard? Is that the ruling ends the decades-old affirmative action policy that was designed to boost the number of Black and Hispanic students in colleges. Now universities will have to look to new ways to better incorporate minority groups. Okay, this is okay. Affirmative. There was I will agree that there was a time when affirmative action was the right thing to do. Okay. After the civil rights movement, after we ended Democrat segregation, there was a problem. There was no diversity in this country and a lot of things. We're so far beyond that. It's ridiculous. It's actually,
back then there was active racism from especially people in the South and probably people in the North that were in positions of power. And I'm sure that went on, and it's not happening anymore. Well, it's obsolete.
I'm watching all of this analysis of the ending of affirmative action at the colleges. Biden was so upset by it, he actually seemed half awake when he was on TV griping about it. Here's my question to liberals about affirmative action, okay? And you guys in the comments on this episode, leave your thoughts on this. Here's the question. First, there is no place in America that is more liberal than America's college and universities. Those are the most liberal places in America, so far as an institutional thing, right? There's nothing more liberal than America's colleges and universities. If these places are the most liberal places in our country, why does there need to be a federal law making sure that they have enough Black people in them? Since they're so liberal, shouldn't they just automatically be diverse? Is Biden and these liberal pundits, are they saying that the liberals that run America's university system are racist liberals who there will be no diversity unless the law requires. But here's the thing about diversity in colleges. I listened to Biden talk about this today. When people are suffering from Alzheimer's and other dementia-related issues, they live in the past. The past is their present, and he thinks we're 40 years ago. He doesn't realize it's 21st century. You go to any college or university, it is not only diverse, minorities may be overrepresented. And what I mean by minorities being overrepresented, the number of minorities at the institutions, in most cases, far surpass the percentage of the population that they make up, okay? So there's no problem with this. There's no lack of diversity. There's none of these things. But affirmative action in the 90s first started getting challenged in Michigan and some other in California. And there were a lot of studies done on this, Kathy. And this is what they found. This was shocking to me. I did not realize this. And there were many studies that were done in the 90s. Remember Ward Connolly and California, and there were others. He was a black conservative trying to end affirmative action. And what all the research showed, and this is factual information based on the admissions of students at universities, that affirmative action was actually discriminating against poor or middle-class white kids, that most of the benefactors of affirmative action in college admissions who are graduating college were upper middle class and wealthy blacks who were using affirmative action to get a helping hand above low-income white students. There's no more of this racist discrimination that we used to have in the past in our schools. Mike, come on, give me a break. It's not the 50s or the 60s anymore.
Well, affirmative action gives universities a license to discriminate
against non-minority people.
And now that it's unlawful, I wonder if they will remove that question off of the application. I remember when I applied for college, when we apply for anything, they ask you your race. Now, I can understand if you're filling out a medical application, it's important because there are certain illnesses that are more prone for people from certain hereditary things. And I understand that. But outside of a medical questionnaire, I don't think it's necessary. And I have to say, I think they shouldn't even have names on applications because here's what's going to happen. There's going to be many ways around this. Oftentimes your name gives away your ethnicity. I mean, I don't know many white girls named Ebony or Kenya. If you got a Jewish name, they're going to assume you're a white Jew. Not many Jewish blacks. If your name is Lopez Garcia Hernandez, they're going to assume you're Latin. Your name will give away a lot of your ethnicity, probably 80% of the time. Okay, my name is Kathy, and when I went to college, my maiden name was from Europe, but it was of Dutch. It's a Dutch name. And so obviously if I applied, they would know, okay, this is obviously a white girl. So plus,
well, what if you're George Zimmerman though? He's Hispanic.
Well, I'm saying 80% of the time it would work. 80% of the time, I think your name gives away a lot of your ethnicity. Plus, they can do Zoom interviews now. There's ways around this. So if there's somebody that they're not sure of, they could say, oh, let's do a Zoom interview. Let's do this. And then they'll see what they look like. So, and they even said they will find ways around this. They'll find loopholes. And that's what they'll do because liberals can't help being liberals and they can't help discriminating. They are convinced that white people are privileged and do not deserve a fair shake in this world anymore. And that just being white in itself makes you a privileged person. Yeah. So why the hell should you get into college or do anything else exceptional, even if you work your butt off? And here's the problem. Schools are not educating children. And there's probably a smaller percentage of children that actually study and care about their grades these days. And I think a lot of teachers, being a former teacher myself, the way things are with cell phones and the way kids are behaving, a lot of teachers probably let a lot of things go and do not discipline the children as much and probably don't educate them as much because they don't want to deal with the aggravation of it. I can promise you kids are dumber than they used to be. And affirmative action just brings in kids that are just not as intelligent. They want you to think that the grades are always the same. No, because if that was the case, then Harvard would be full of Asians.
And you know what? I'll tell you,
they're cutting those Asians out.
With college, okay? I went to college as an adult. I didn't start college until after Kathy and I were married. In fact, I started college right before our daughter was born. And I remember the day we adopted her, I had a class that morning. I went from class to go to the hospital the day we adopted our daughter. And in the state university systems in this country, which most people go to, some people, go to Harvard and Princeton. Not everybody goes to those. But in the state university systems, there's an open admission policy. Now, I had good grade. I did okay. But I went to a 4-year state university here in Florida, and I didn't have to take the SATs even because there's an open admission policy. I had to go to the junior college first, and then I transferred to the.
Got your AA.
Yeah, I went to the junior college first, which everybody gets in. There's no SATs or anything required. And when I graduated the junior college, the state university automatically accepts you.
Right.
It's open admissions. And
I don't think it's that way with the Ivy League schools.
It's not that way, but you know what?
We're talking Harvard and those schools.
Well, no, but most people don't go to Harvard or the other Ivy Leagues.
No, but that's who uses this affirmative action law more than anybody.
No, that's not true, Kathy. It's at the state universities and everything too. No. Any state university has, well, until today, has the affirmative action. The case that went before the court just happened to be Harvard, okay? Because those, but anyway, no, it's state universities. So anyone with a high school diploma, and by the way, you don't even need a high school regular diploma to go to college. You can go to college with a GED. I know a lot of people will tell me listening to this, that's not true. It is true. I had a professor in college who didn't graduate high school regularly, got a GED and then went to junior college and then went and got a master's degree and a doctorate, okay? So you don't even need to have your regular high school diploma to go to college.
Brian, kids these days can get their AA in high school now.
That's right.
There's so many opportunities to get a college education, so much more than when we were in school.
This is the thing, okay, that's going on in this country. And Kathy and I, since we have an interracial family, which is a very important thing, okay, our family is interracial. We have one child, and she's black, and all of our grandchildren from now and forever will be children of color. There will be no white Craigs in the future. They will all be Craigs of color, okay? So we have a vested interest in race relations more than your average white people, okay? And I can only imagine if the country keeps going in this direction, what our great black grandchildren are going to think when they see all these pictures of me wearing MAGA hats. They'll think I'm in the Klan, the way these liberals are brainwashing people. So we have an interest in race relations. And what's going on here is Democrats want minorities to still think that this is a racist society, that blacks can't make it, that they're being held back. They want to keep people in these victim class heads. Mm-hmm. And they don't want us to live in the now. They want us to live like it's in the 50s.
Well, because they can manipulate people. Here, Whoopi Goldberg said, if everyone was actually treated equally, we wouldn't have to have affirmative action. This is coming from a woman who's an EGOT, who's a multimillionaire. And EGOT means she's won every major award
Emmy,
in entertainment.
Grammy, Oscar, and a Tony.
Exactly. She's a multi-millionaire. And she's talking about, and she is a black woman. And she is talking about inequality. How come she can make it and nobody else can? I mean, she grew up in the projects from what I've read about her. She can make it on The View and be a millionaire, but nobody else. She's special. She's got that whole thing where she's special. And I don't know why people don't understand that white liberals love to feel like they're saving the black people. They've always had a superiority complex over black people. And their biggest fear is now in these times, people are going to find out that we don't need affirmative action, and people are going to figure that out really quickly, and that's the real fear there.
This is a good thing, and the Democrats are going to have meltdowns, and they're going to go. And I've noticed, and the Democrat reaction to this today was much heavier than when the Supreme Court a year ago overturned Roe v. Wade. They weren't happy when Roe v. Wade got overturned, but they're more upset over affirmative action because. Here's the thing, I talk about this sometimes, and it's relevant to this. How I talked about how Castro always wore the fatigues, even 50 years after, because the revolution was always going on. And that's why he wore the fatigues. The revolution continues. It's never ending. We're still fighting the imperialists and all this stuff. When he stops wearing the fatigues and starts wearing suits, the revolution is over. The people are going to want a free election in Cuba. Well, that's the same thing that's going on here with the Democrats. The Democrats want you to live in a world where they think women are having back alley abortions, right, and blacks can't get into college because of the Democrats who run the colleges are racist and won't let them in.
Well, it's like I said, it's a way to get people to vote. It's a way for them to stay in power because their policies suck. So because they can't run on their policies, they have to run on making you afraid.
What they want, yes. And what Democrats want.
Very powerful motivator.
What Democrats want is for people to, that are like the Democrat groups, to be dependent upon them. And you only have affirmative action. You only have abortion.
Because of them.
You only have this. You only have that because of us. And if you don't support us, you lose these things. And if you look at the reaction of the left, this is an interesting thing here, okay? So race can no longer be used, no more affirmative action. We're in the summertime. So school just got out. Kids are applying to colleges over the summer. Kids are being admitted and denied admission to college right now because we're in the summertime. School just got out. And you're going to find in a few years that probably some of the schools in the next 4 to 5 years will have more minorities in them.
Well, it's funny because
of the quotas, more people qualify than these quotas they have academically. So, but the way that they're acting today is that when college starts at the end of the summer, that black kids aren't going to be able to get a college education now because of this.
Well, and shame on them for constantly saying that. And it's always very rich, well-educated minorities that tell people that, like Sonny Hostin. And Kamala Harris said we're taking a step backward. I have to say, I think we're taking a step forward. We don't need it anymore. That's a good thing. They don't want you to realize that we have gotten to a place in this country where we don't need affirmative action anymore. How is that a step backward? That is a step forward. They never, ever want to admit that they've accomplished something and that we're actually in a place that we've been fighting for. They don't want the fight to ever end.
That's right. Now, there is a big special going on at MyPillow.com for the 4th of July on their Giza Elegance pillows. Now, of course, the MyPillow 2.0 with cooling technology is still buy one, get one free. But the Giza Elegance MyPillows, Kathy and I have 2 of these. These are fantastic. They are an upscale version of the regular MyPillow. They're kind of like if you stayed at Mar-a-Lago or a luxury hotel, they're the kind of pillow, like an upscale luxury pillow that you would have in an upscale hotel, the Giza Elegance pillow. And there's an incredible sale going on.
I love those pillows.
Oh, yeah. There's an incredible sale going on with them right now. And the cover on the Giza Elegance pillows at MyPillow.com, they're made of that Giza cotton that our sheets are made out of. And they're very good. They're normally $69.98 a pillow, the Giza Elegant pillows. Right now, just $19.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout. That's $19.98 for the MyPillow Giza Elegance MyPillow. Now, this is a 4th of July special. So after the 4th of July weekend and maybe a day or two after that it's going to be gone. This is a very specific 4th of July special. Mike Lindell's office sent me this morning. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact, they sent me this after I got off the air this morning on the morning show, so I didn't even get to share this. So just $19.98 for the Giza Elegance MyPillow with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And remember, when you buy anything from MyPillow using our promo code Kane, Kane, you're supporting all the content that I'm connected to. The podcast here with Kathy, my YouTube channel, the morning show, everything. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to embrace effortless fashion and express your individuality? Look no further than Oakley 10 Clothing. Oakley 10 is dedicated to helping you embark on diverse fashion adventures. Their online boutique is filled with the most coveted trends of the moment. With Oakley 10, you'll experience a wide range of meticulously crafted t-shirts that are perfect for every style and occasion. From laid-back comfort to bold statements, they have just what you were looking for. The Oakley 10 t-shirts are made from top-quality materials, ensuring durability and exceptional comfort. You'll look and feel amazing every time you wear them. With options like crew neck, V-neck, scoop neck, and long and short sleeve designs, they have something for every preference. It's time to embrace your personal style and effortlessly express yourself with Oakley 10 clothing. Online at oakley10.com. That's OAKLIETEN. Oakley10.com. Oakley 10 clothing, where fashion meets individuality. It's summertime, and when you sit in your car, it can feel like you've just sat in an oven. But it doesn't have to be that way. There is help with the revolutionary and convenient windshield sunshade from the Okansa store. That's AOKANSHA. They have a sunshade that rolls up and down with the touch of a button. So no more hassle of storing and moving a traditional sunshade. It's as easy as using a regular shade in your house. Simply pull it down for instant shade and press the button for automatic retraction. Say goodbye to hot seats and faded interiors with this game-changing sunshade. It blocks 99% of harmful UV rays, providing you with effective protection against the scorching heat and relentless sunlight. Keep yourself and your loved ones cool and comfortable all summer long. This sunshade is unbreakable and built to last. It's crafted from aviation-grade aluminum alloy. It comes in sizes to fit most cars, trucks, SUVs, pickups, and vans. So why wait? Go to Amazon.com right now and search the Okansa store. That's AOKANSHA, and keep your vehicle cool all summer long. Are you ready to unlock the secrets of a healthier, more vibrant life? Look no further than lifewave.com/revive39. There, you will find a groundbreaking health technology company that's dedicated to honoring the light of life and harnessing the body's natural energy to reverse aging and maximize human potential. Their mission is simple: to empower you to live in the light, maximize your human potential with transformative health technology that enhances and extends lives. And now, they're inviting you to become a part of an incredible journey as a brand partner. As a brand partner, not only will you market the most innovative products, but also you'll be part of a modernized compensation plan. Their uplifting community of like-minded entrepreneurs from all around the world will surround you like a family, supporting your success every step of the way. Imagine being part of a purposeful community where heart-to-heart connections and shared passion for wellness create a powerful synergy. Go right now to lifewave.com/revive39. That's lifewave.com/revive39 to learn more and start building your own business. Lifewave.com/revive39. Your path to a brighter future begins now. Lifewave.com/revive39. Lifewave.com/revive39.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Okay, so the state senator, who's a Democrat in Rhode Island, got busted by the police vandalizing a vehicle that had a Biden sucks bumper sticker on it. Now, even here in Florida, on Kathy's car, which is, we have two cars. My car is really old. My car is like, how old is my car, Kathy?
Oh my gosh, 13.
Yeah, 13 years old.
Yeah.
My car's 13 years old. Kathy has the new car. And I do have I have two Trump stickers on my car. One of them is a MAGA sticker on my 13-year-old car. On Kathy's car, there's nothing because liberals vandalize. And Kathy
I don't want a sticker on my Mini Cooper.
Kathy has a Mini Cooper, and we had a Mini Cooper when they first came out here in America again years ago when Bush was running for re-election. And I had a Bush, oh boy, can you imagine? I had a Bush Cheney sticker on the back window of our first Mini Cooper. And that's when I was in college, and I was parked in the parking lot at the college. I got out of class, and my taillight was busted out.
Yep.
And someone just felt perfectly fine doing that. So, but this guy isn't a college kid. This guy's like a 50-year-old man. So he's a Rhode Island state senator. He vandalized a car with a Biden sucks bumper sticker on it.
He's an elected official.
Yeah. Exactly.
Crazy.
And a police officer pulled him over, and I'm going to play this. This is the audio from the police body camera.
Oh, boy.
He's just pulled the guy over. He's a Democrat state senator. He pulled him over for vandalizing the car, and let's hear the conversation. I've not listened to this audio. I have heard the story and read some articles about it, but I've not heard the audio. This is the first time I'm hearing it with all of you.
How you doing, bud? I just need you to step out the truck for me, all right? Sure. Do you mind shutting it off? I'll explain to you when you get out here, okay?
He knows what he did.
You want to come right back in for me? 35, I'm at 1 male detained for right now. All right, listen, I have to detain you for right now, all right? I'm investigating a crime, okay?
Okay.
All right?
Is this a maniac who yelled at me in the car next to me?
They weren't in the car next to you. There was no one in the car.
Yeah.
There was no one in the car.
He was blocking my way, saying I scratched his car. I didn't scratch his car. I'm a state senator. I think he recognized me. I think he's one of the gun nuts.
Who recognizes a state senator?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't know who my state senator was if he was in our front yard urinating on the tree.
No.
I would. Who is that guy?
He called out my name. I never told him my name.
All right. He didn't say any of that, okay?
Yeah.
He definitely didn't recognize you. I know he didn't say that.
Yeah.
So, all right? His car was keyed. It was freshly keyed.
Yeah.
All right? And that's what we're investigating right now.
Okay.
And see.
Now, the car keying, this is one of the this is just my opinion.
That is
okay?
such an awful thing to do to a car.
There are certain things that a man does not do.
Right.
And one of the worst things a man can do to another person, in my opinion, short of is vandalizing their car. That's
this guy is hardly a man.
No. And when someone keys a car, that's hardcore body work because it grinds into the paint and the metal.
You know, he pretty much heard it and saw you.
Yeah.
And you had keys in your hand as well.
That's because I just came out of my car.
Well, that would make sense, but the way that he explained it seemed much a little bit more in depth than that, okay?
Yeah.
All right? He can hear it, like fresh. He can hear the scratching, and he approached you and asked you. You kind of just walked away and kind of just
because he called out my name.
Yeah, he didn't say he called out your name, but...
He called out my name, and I was worried that he was one of the gun nuts who stalked me at the state house, so I kept walking.
Well, yeah, I don't think he
victim.
was that. He seemed a little young, you know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there, okay? Just for right now, just hang out a little bit, all right? I have a supervisor coming out here, okay? That's 7. I'm going to be in front of the, between the Chipotle and the Gap.
Between the Chipotle and the Gap.
I was scared, so I kept walking.
All right.
Yeah. And I went over to Starbucks, had a drink, calmed down. He saw me walk in. And then I walked over to Whole Foods to get what I needed to get. And then I came back.
You walked all the way to Whole Foods?
Yeah, because I was afraid to come back to my car and he was still here.
Why didn't you call us?
It's a good question. I should have.
This guy needs to stop talking.
All right,
He's trying to lie his way out of it. He's making it worse.
Miller. Mr. Miller, sir. So this is what's going on right now, okay? We have the victim that's going to come down.
Yeah.
He's just going to identify that you were the gentleman that he spoke to about keying his car, okay?
Yeah.
There's no charges yet. We're still investigating it, okay? We still have some...
There are cameras almost down each and every row, so obviously we have to do our due diligence to make sure. We're just going to detain you for a little while until he comes down here. He's coming from Providence, so he should be here.
Oh, I'm so glad this guy got busted.
Oh, man.
This guy got busted. Let me read through the story. It says here, a Democrat state senator in Rhode Island has been arrested after he was allegedly caught on camera vandalizing a car with a Biden sucks bumper sticker. Joshua Miller, who serves as the state Democrat policy chairman, is accused of keying the vehicle that had been parked next to his own at the Garden City Center in Cranston on Thursday. The son of the car's owner immediately reported the incident to the police.
Was he sitting in the car?
I don't know.
He might have been.
He said he stating that he heard a scratching noise and got out of the vehicle.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
So
you didn't see him in there.
No, he must have had like tinted windows and didn't see him in there.
Oh, boy.
So he heard scratching and got out of the vehicle to see Mr. Miller holding a set of keys. When he confronted Miller about keying his vehicle, Miller denied it and walked away. That was until police arrived and charged him with a misdemeanor. He got booked, mugshot, and everything. The entire episode led to a series of awkward encounters with the local police as they tried to pin down what had happened. Police body camera footage showed how Cranston police approached Miller 2 hours later. Okay, and you heard everything. He was blocking my way. He's a gun nut. In a desperate attempt to curry favor with the officers, he brought up the chief of police of the department and name-dropped him.
That never helps.
No, he urged the officers to contact the colonel, believing that he might be on his side, aware of threats that had been made against him. But that plan was foiled when the police department later confirmed Miller had never reported any such threats to the police, like the gun nut thing that he was talking about. In a separate body cam video released by the police, the victim returned to the scene and identified this Democrat state senator as the perpetrator. After reporting the incident to police, the victim's mother suggested that Miller, as a Democrat, might have been unhappy with her Biden sucks bumper sticker. After reviewing the surveillance camera security footage, police released him, but later that night went to question him again at home. Oh, my goodness. If keying someone's cars, that's some hardcore vandalism.
Yeah, it is.
You just can't buff that out or paint it. That's major body work. In a third body camera video, Miller admitted to being the vandal and once again repeated his claims that he had been threatened, even suggesting the victim dared him to key the car.
Oh, my gosh.
Claiming he had been taunted with the victim saying, "Hey, Miller, what you going to do?"
So he keeps adding to his story, changing his story. He's making it up as he goes.
And he's putting himself at the scene and everything else.
What an idiot.
What's the reason to key the car, though? That's the question a police officer asked him. Because he was daring me to, the state senator said. The guy started on me as soon as I opened my door.
This shows you how mental liberals are.
The police officer said, "There's a video."
Oh, boy.
The guy wants to pursue charges. He's upset. I think
should.
You're going to cooperate. Why did you key his car? The officer asks repeatedly. You just got mad and keyed his car? Did he threaten you?
Yeah, why his car?
And then he says, "I thought he was a gun nut. I thought he was threatening me. I took my keys out when he started staring at me. I felt threatened."
Oh, please.
Police suggested Miller accompany them to the police station, which he agreed to do. He was charged with a misdemeanor vandalism, malicious injury to property charge, arraigned, released on $1,000
bail. He should get charged
bail.
for lying to the cops, too.
Well, he may when they get to, but this is your standard operation here with the Democrats.
Yep.
The Democrats feel fully justified in harming conservatives.
He saw that bumper sticker as a threat. In his mind, that was the threat.
Yeah.
And he had to act.
Well, Michael Savage had that book, Liberalism is a Mental Disorder.
Yes, very true.
Most liberals are liberals are a couple of different kinds of people. A lot of them just aren't informed about the issues and know what's going on in the news. They're just regular people that work hard and and they don't know what's going on and they're just bombarded with liberal things, so they don't know any different because they don't, it's like me with football. I don't know what's going on, And then that's true. And then they're the ones that are like public officials and vocal and activist. Most people that are Democrat activists or Democrat elected officials, they fit in two categories. They're either corrupt like Joe Biden or they're deranged mentally.
Or both.
Yeah, well, they could be both.
Yeah.
And most of them are most Democrats that are activists or hold elected office are deranged, angry people that are like Nazi stormtroopers that want to stomp on anyone who disagrees with them that's different than them.
The crazy thing is he'll get reelected because of this, probably.
They may make him governor of Rhode Island.
Yeah, I mean,
those
Democrats. Crazy liberals, I tell you. They'll say, yep, he was threatened. That bumper sticker's a threat. I mean, that's how they see it. Just putting a bumper sticker on your car is a threat to them.
But we're the ones that are dangerous when they're doing all of these things. And, that's why you really, a lot of conservatives like to go to confront liberals and activist organizations. You don't want to do that. They are violent.
Yeah, you're not going to change their mind.
They're angry. The only reason this guy got busted is because there was camera footage.
Yeah. There's cameras everywhere now. There's cameras everywhere. Almost every home has cameras. There's cameras on every business and high def cameras too. I mean, people have cell phones. Anytime you leave your house, assume somebody can have you on camera doing something.
Yeah. So today, Mike Pence shocked everyone and went to Ukraine. So what? Who cares about Mike Pence?
Nobody.
It has been 3 days now. Today is day 3 since Zelensky told the BBC that he is not going to hold presidential elections next year. He's just going to stay president.
Crazy.
If the war's still going on, which we know is going to be going on, right? And do you know I haven't seen that story anywhere? In fact, Mike Pence was in Ukraine. Did he call on Zelensky to have elections? This thing about Zelensky not having elections next year, in this country, we have never missed an election, even in times of war. In the Civil War, this is an amazing thing. Yeah. In the Civil War, not only did we have an election because Lincoln was reelected in the Civil War, the Democrats, and remember, the Civil War was the Democrat insurrection against the United States government. During the Civil War, the Democrats had a nominating convention and nominated a candidate who ran against President Lincoln. Lincoln wasn't sure he was going to win re-election, and election night spent all night in the telegraph office down the street from the White House watching returns. Mm-hmm. Okay? We had an election during the Civil War when the country was on the verge of collapse. Yep. And Zelensky had announced no elections until the war is over. So he's appointed himself president for life, basically. He has officially become a dictator.
Yep.
And I agree that Putin is a dictator. I just don't care about Russia. I don't think Russia's not a threat to us. It's none of our business. But now Zelensky.
We're basically funding a dictatorship.
Well, exactly. And we've created one. And look at what Zelensky has done. No elections now. He's outlawed opposition political parties.
That's right.
He's outlawed churches. There's no freedom of religion. Right. He has shut down media outlets who disagree with him, so there's no freedom of the press. What are we fighting for over there in Ukraine? The right for a dictator?
I mean, he has become what they say Putin is.
Exactly.
He has become that himself, maybe worse.
Exactly.
Well, that's what happens with these people like Napoleon, Castro, these people that lead revolutions. They end up, he's doing exactly what Fidel Castro did. They lead revolutions and they end up making themselves president for life.
Well,
that's how revolutions work.
Castro had the support of the United States during the revolution against Batista. And it was a shocker to the United States that he decided there would be no free and fair elections until the revolution is over. And here we are in 2023, and there still has not been a free election in Cuba.
Exactly.
That's why we have an embargo on them.
That's right.
And that's what Zelensky is doing over there.
Well, what are the people doing about it in the Ukraine? How do they feel about it? And how are they reacting to it?
I don't know.
Are they cool with that?
I don't know. There's no opposition media in Ukraine to report this.
True.
And Zelensky said this during an interview with the BBC 3 days ago. I have had a hard time finding this story since then. It's really been buried in search results, and I haven't seen it in any American media other than the Gateway Pundit at thegatewaypundit.com. Other than the Gateway Pundit, I haven't seen anyone else report that Zelensky said no elections until the war is over. That's crazy. Yeah. We had elections during the Second World War. The same guy always won, Roosevelt, but we still had elections. Yeah, I've never heard of such a thing.
No.
And to me, this is an interesting thing.
What did Hitler do? Did he have elections?
No, they didn't have elections.
He stopped that too.
Yeah, he was a dictator.
Like, there you go.
So the thing with Zelensky here, this is what it tells me. It tells me he doesn't have the Ukrainian people on his side, because if he thought he would win, he would have the elections.
He's afraid of losing power.
I think he knows that if they have an election in Ukraine, he will lose and the war will be over. President Trump has said that the loss of life in Ukraine is much larger than we're being told. And I believe him, because I always believe President Trump. He would know. He knows. And there hasn't been even an ask of Putin to have peace talks. They haven't had any peace talks.
No.
Biden said he won't talk to Putin. Zelensky hasn't tried to talk to Putin. and they don't want the war to end. So this tells me that the Ukrainian people want the war to end. They want talks with Russia to end the war, and they don't support Zelensky, or he'd have the election. And that's my opinion. Could you imagine? Abraham Lincoln could have suspended elections. Abraham Lincoln suspended some rights. They could hold people without bail and everything during the Civil War, but he didn't suspend the election. And if the Democrats would have won the election of 1864,
what about other
could you
elections
imagine?
in the Ukraine?
That means the Confederates would have won.
Do they have elections for different areas like we do, like the states, or is it just one election?
Well, they
for
have
one
a
person?
They have a national legislature.
So can they have those elections?
There's no elections. There will be no elections next year. So could you imagine?
So the whole government's like frozen now.
Well, Zelensky's in charge. If the Democrats would have won the election in 1864 during the Civil War, they would have in effect won the Civil War,
right? Because
they were the ones we were fighting. And we were fighting against the Democrats. Started the.
It's incredible to me.
This is insane
that the Democrats were even allowed to put up a candidate. During the Civil War. I mean, how the hell did that happen?
Well, because this is America. And
think about it.
We're freedom-loving people in a democracy, and we were run by Republicans then. Republicans stand for freedom. Democrats stand for tyranny. And keep in mind, the Democrats were fighting to keep black people in bondage. So Zelensky, there is no case can be made when Ben Stiller can just decide on a weekend, I'm going to go to Ukraine for the weekend. And just fly over there. There's no risk. There's no danger. There were municipal elections in New York City after 9/11. They put them off a little bit,
exactly,
because there was so many people. But they had the city elections in New York City not long after 9/11. This is unacceptable, and it's scary to me that the media in this country are not covering the story. We'll take our break and be right back.
Are you looking for high-quality digital content to enhance your personal or commercial products? Look no further than Simply Love PLR, online at simplyloveplr.com. They have a wide range of digital downloads, products you can edit, and courses that cater to your needs. At Simply Love PLR, you'll discover top-notch, done-for-you content that can be easily customized and personalized to make it your own. The PLR and commercial use license content make it a breeze. But wait, there's more. Their printables are perfect for personal use too, adding a touch of creativity to your daily life. And best of all the content is available for immediate download. If you take advantage of their membership, you'll enjoy access to all their products. Visit simplyloveplr.com. Explore the wide variety of offerings, from Bible study templates to types of dogs and cat word search templates, DFY sets, faith journeys, Independence Day word searches, debt trackers, monthly budget templates, and that's just the beginning. simplyloveplr.com is your go-to source for digital downloads. Start creating your own unique masterpieces right now. simplyloveplr.com. Robert Allen Miltenberg invites you to time travel with him to the Roman future. His new novella, available at Amazon.com and Barnes & Noble. It's the golden age of Rome, a time of peace and prosperity. And Scadius Commodius Lavatorius is its greatest scientist. But for all he's achieved, one question haunts him. Will Rome survive the test of time? There's only one way to find out. Come along on this cosmic romp of an adventure. See if you can read the signs any better than a brilliant scientist can. Prediction, science fiction, allegory, national glory. This is a satire at its most gladiatorial. Center stage in the Circus Maximus of your mind. A story of time machines and timeless politics, strange Roman cuisine and gambling parlor tricks, spinning gold and crossing the river Styx. That's the Roman future. Available on Kindle and paperback. Go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble now and visit The Roman Future by Robert Allen Miltenberg today. Are you looking for a reliable taxi service in New York City? Look no further. Syru Taxi has you covered. Online at SyruTaxi.com. That's SYRU. Syru Taxi operates in the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, and Manhattan. And if you're a driver looking for a flexible and rewarding career opportunity, drive with Syru Taxi and take control of your schedule. You can drive when you want and make what you need. Whether you need an SUV, sedan, or any convenient cab type, you can book your immediate ride right from your doorstep. Enjoy the luxury of their rides without breaking the bank. You can also download the Cyru Taxi app, available in the Apple app and Google Play Store. So whether you're a passenger looking for a reliable ride or a driver seeking a fulfilling career, Cyru Taxi is here for you. Visit CyruTaxi.com. That's SYRU, or download the app right now. Cyru Taxi, your go-to taxi service in New York City.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Before we get into the other stories we have, and we got some big ones here, so stay tuned. I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you so much. And those of you that are patrons to the program, your support does help Kathy and I a lot, and it is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to become a patron of the program, there is a link in the episode description to our Patreon page. You click that link, it'll walk you through everything. And there's also a direct link on my website, BrianCraigShow.com. Patreon supporters get access to commercial-free editions of all of our podcast episodes, by the way. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every podcast episode. So the names you hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Mike P, Rome, Wisconsin, Macho, Wesley, Nick, Rick, Carlos, Melissa, Richard, David, Arctic Fox, John, and Paulette. These are our top Patreon supporters.
Which is really coming down.
I know we're in a rainstorm.
My goodness, it's like a monsoon outside.
Well, it's hurricane season in Florida.
It is.
Yeah.
Every afternoon it's like this now.
Oh yeah. Well, if we have a hurricane, I wonder if Ron DeSantis will stop running for president and come to Florida and help
doubt
us.
It.
Yeah.
I wonder when was last time he was even in Florida.
I don't know.
Been a while.
I don't know. Every time I see him, he's in another state. Couple of things I want to mention here. This is amazing. Another violent January 6th prisoner has been revealed to be an Antifa operative. Yep. And the Gateway Pundit, guys, the Gateway Pundit is a great news source, thegatewaypundit.com. This is not an advertisement. They don't sponsor us or anything. It's just a great resource. The Gateway Pundit is what the Drudge Report used to be in the 90s. They got all the news, right, that no one else will report and talk about. They're the best, the Gateway Pundit.
They got everything.
I don't go on the air without going to the Gateway Pundit, and I go there several times a day. And if you've never been to the Gateway Pundit, when you have a few hours free, go there and just go through as far back as you can go. You will be blown away at the things you see.
And it is all
the Gateway
stuff
Pundit.
You will not see in the mainstream news.
And
they report stuff that nobody else will report.
No, and the Gateway Pundit, let me tell you how good it is.
It's good stuff.
You cannot post links from the Gateway Pundit on Facebook. They're blocked immediately. If you post the Gateway Pundit articles to Facebook, they won't post. You can't post them, and you'll get banned from Facebook. Right. That's how good they are. Yep. And all of their stories are well sourced, like real journalists. And it's a great website, thegatewaypundit.com. So they have this story today. On Wednesday, that's yesterday, the Gateway Pundit spoke with January 6th political prisoner Barry Ramey from his prison cell, where he's now being held. Barry told the Gateway Pundit about an Antifa activist named Josiah who admitted to being a communist and a Trump hater and said he went to the U.S. Capitol on January 6th hoping to see Trump supporters killed by police.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I know. Can you imagine? I mean, is this nuts? And he's one of the January 6 prisoners. That's awful. And there's a very long article that
he's not in jail.
Yeah, there's a very long article I'm not going to read through that talks about all the details and everything. But we know there were Antifa and BLM and all kinds of other radical activists and government operatives too, but there on that day. And that is, It's such an unfortunate day for so many reasons.
It is.
But the media in this country are such a poison. They don't report the news. You know, like in the last segment, we were talking about Zelensky suspending elections. That should be the lead story at the top and bottom of every newscast. We're giving this guy billions of dollars and they don't report it. Total blackout.
And it's so funny. I said to you the other day, I said, they say we're in a cult, but their behavior is much more cult-like because they protect their leaders. Even if they're the most corrupt people, they will vote for them, even though Biden doesn't know what year it is or what war we're fighting. They still will elect this vegetable because he's a Democrat. That's not right. Cult-like.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absurd.
Yeah, it is. And it's really frightening. And
it is.
With President Trump having overturned Roe v. Wade and affirmative action now, any Republican who doesn't give him credit for that is a fake Republican that you should never, ever listen to or trust again.
I love how Paul Ryan, who, by the way, looks really weird. I guess he stopped going to the
Eddie
gym.
Munster, they call him.
He looks really strange. But he said that, you know, he will vote for anybody but Trump, any Republican but Trump. I mean, that's weird. And he's kind of saying, like, you know, we got to do whatever we can to keep Trump out. What about the will of the people?
Yeah.
What if the people want Trump in? Why the hell? That tells you right there how much the deep state, which he is a part of, thinks they have control, or how much they have control over our elections and over our leaders. We have to do whatever we can to keep him out. Screw you. It's not up to you, Paul. It is up to the people. So what if 85 million people voted for Trump? That doesn't matter. What matters is that they don't want him in there. I don't understand. You know, they really just should have left him alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they're obsessed with him and they can't help it. And they're making him
Well,
more
look what happened.
popular.
You know, Biden today with this ruling with the Supreme Court, he said this is not a normal Supreme Court. Like something's wrong with them.
Exactly.
And see, what I realized with Trump, and I never realized this before, but what I realized with Trump in his first term is that the Republicans in Washington don't intend on doing anything that they run on that is on the platform.
No,
they don't intend to do
They're
anything.
rhinos. They never were Republicans.
No. And
Republican in name only.
They're upset at Donald Trump for a lot of things, right? He took on China with the trade deals. That's a big one because they got all their money tied up with that.
Right.
He can't be controlled to help the donors. He was ending wars, not starting wars. The military-industrial complex want wars to be started. But another thing he was doing is actually getting things done.
Right, which you're right is what they don't want to happen.
Well, you know what we were talking about in the first segment, that the Democrats don't want affirmative action and abortion. Right. They don't want these things settled because they want people to have they want Democrat voters dependent on them for things. The Republican
it's a way to manipulate people.
The Republican establishment's the same thing.
Exactly.
They want to go out there and gripe about affirmative. We got an affirmative action. We got to overturn Roe v. Wade with no intention on ever doing it.
Exactly.
Thinking that we'll support and vote for them. And we had no choice. We had no one that was going to really do anything until Trump came down the escalator. And what they hate about Donald Trump more than anything, in my opinion, is that he actually does it. And this is the thing. You know, this snake Paul Ryan. He gave this interview and he said we're in trouble if Trump wins and all this stuff. When that Access Hollywood tape came out, Paul Ryan, remember he uninvited President Trump to an event, and Paul Ryan and the Republicans made this big deal to get Donald Trump to sign a pledge supporting the Republican Party platform. Like it was some big thing, like he was some liberal.
I remember this.
He signed it. Why not? He was going to, and then he accomplishes it and they give him no credit. And the way that the news is handling the Roe v. Wade and affirmative action, they don't give Trump any credit for this.
No.
And Trump did the entire thing. And that's one of the other things that scare them so much about him.
But if it was something bad, they would definitely give him credit. They would blame him. I mean, they blame him for everything. But anytime it's something good, I mean, you're right. I haven't really watched the mainstream news in a while. But I haven't seen clips or anything of anybody. I mean, the only person praising Trump is Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody, Karl Rove or any of these people come out and say, look, I don't like Trump, and I'm not going to vote for him, but he did accomplish these two things. which are major, major accomplishments with his Supreme Court. I mean, to me, those are his biggest accomplishments ever. No matter what, when he gets in a second time.
No doubt.
Is overturning Roe v. Wade to me is the biggest. And then affirmative action, those are two huge issues.
It doesn't get bigger.
That the left, what they'll do, like Biden said today, this isn't the end. No, it is the end. I mean, this is the final decision here. I'm sorry, but they don't want you to know that. They want you to think that they can still fight. So you'll send them more money because they have a cause. This is what it's all about, is money, getting you to open your wallet and to send them money online or in an envelope because they have to have a cause to fight for to get you to give them money. If there's no cause, why would you send them $100 to do the fighting for you? And that, you're right. That's why Republicans never wanted Roe v. Wade or affirmative action changed, because if they don't have a cause to fight for, then why the hell would you send them $50 a month or whatever? You know what I mean? That's how they're thinking. This is all about you sending them money, and that's why they need these causes to keep going and never get finished.
And the way the media handles things, I think about this. Pence in Ukraine. Pence is 4 points ahead of me in the presidential campaign. Chris Christie is 3 points ahead of me, right?
He's 1 point. The last poll. Now,
the last poll
did a new
at 1
poll.
point.
I saw the graphic on Twitter today. Trump is up even more, and DeSantis lost points, and Christie, I think, was at 1%. So I don't know why the hell he's even
Kathy,
being interviewed.
Think of that. Yeah. To be considered a credible presidential candidate, these guys have less support than third-party candidates. And Donald Trump is in the 60s now, and DeSantis is in the teens.
What do you think it is about Chris Christie? I mean, why does he hate Trump? So they were friends. Why does he absolutely hate Trump? So is it because he didn't give him an appointment that he wanted? He absolutely hates him now.
I'm not 100% sure, but what I've heard people in the know speculate on is he thought he should be the attorney general. And the way he's behaving is proof that Trump was right in not making him attorney general. You can't trust this guy. Look at him.
Yeah.
Look how he behaves. He behaves like a madman.
I don't know why he's getting any attention at all. He has, like you said, like 1%, according to the polls. Nobody gives a damn what this guy thinks.
Well, the one I'm worried about, though,
and then they got a picture of him sleeping on an airplane. How's he going to campaign and run the country when he's taking naps like Biden in the middle of the afternoon and he can't handle it? You think Trump takes naps?
The one I'm worried about is Ron DeSantis. And I'll tell you why I'm worried about Ron. I'm not worried about Ron DeSantis beating Trump. But when he drops out of the campaign in a humiliating defeat, he's going to be our governor still. And
not for long.
Yeah, over 2 years.
No, not by the time the election.
Kathy, he just got reelected 6 months ago. His second term he's only 6 months into his second full-year term.
So it'll be 2 more years.
We'll have 2.5 years. And he's going to be so pissed off at the people of Florida because this is a MAGA state of Trump people. I worry about him and how he treats us here in Florida when he's pissed off at the constituents. I've made this prediction about Ron. I'm going to make it one more time. I believe Ron DeSantis is unelectable forever. He is very unpopular in Florida.
He is.
You don't hear people say Ron DeSantis is free Florida anymore. This is a MAGA state, and MAGA hate DeSantis.
A Republican cannot win without Florida. They're not going to get California, New York.
No.
They need Florida to win, and Ohio. Those two states they need.
Ron DeSantis is unelectable even in Florida.
That's the problem.
He could not get elected in his local House district that he used to hold, okay? This is what I think his future is going to be, and I'm not kidding. This is what I think is going to end up happening. When his governor's term is up and he's unelectable forever, he's going to get one of those fake board of director jobs at Disney. I think he is going to spend the last year of his.
That's never going to happen.
I'm telling you, Kathy,
insane.
He's going to make some secret deals with Disney. Things that he'll use his power as governor to give into Disney. None of it will go into effect until he's out of office or almost out of office. He'll get a board of directors position, and he will be in charge of bringing family-friendly content and attitudes back to Disney.
What I think
they'll pay him millions of dollars a year for that fake job on the Disney board of directors.
But I could be crazy. He's not going to win the nomination. What if he ran as a third party?
No.
To try to help Biden.
No one would give him 10 cents. He's a loser. He's a loser.
If it meant doing another Ross Perot,
no,
and keeping Trump out, you want to bet?
No.
He could pull he could pull 10, 15% away from Trump.
No way.
Okay.
No way.
Well, that's my theory. He's going to run as a third party where else is he going to go?
He's going to
when he doesn't get the nomination.
He's going to be dropping out early because the Florida primary is in about a year from now. He's going to drop out before the Florida primary because he's the
crazy.
Oh yeah, he's the sitting governor of Florida, and if he gets creamed against Trump in the Florida primary, it'll be the most humiliating defeat any elected official has ever suffered.
He'll run as an independent then.
And he'll be done. Well, listen, we're out of time. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And remember, the Brian Craig Show podcast, named the number 3 must-listen-to conservative podcast in America, is available on all podcast platforms. If there's a podcast platform, we're on it. And the show is also uploaded to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. And when we upload the show on YouTube, we do it with a live premiere where there's a live chat, and Kathy and I are in the chat room, and it's very interactive, and we have a great community there, just like I do in the mornings. So go and check that out. And also, when you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube, click the notification bell because I also do weekend shows on YouTube like I do during the week in the mornings.
I want to say one more thing about our Mighty MAGA Lion. If you go to mightymagalion.com, we have a really adorable lion, like a stuffed animal with a MAGA hat. And you can only get it at mightymagalion.com. We designed it with D. It is exclusive to us, and we designed it for you guys. So check it out, mightymagalion.com. And it's a pre-order now. They'll be shipping out in the fall, but you can get it in time for Christmas if you pre-order now. If you wait till the fall, we might not get it in time for the holidays. But if you pre-order now, you'll definitely get it in time for Christmas. And if you or anybody you know loves Trump, I'm telling you, this would be the coolest gift. They would love it.
That's right. All right. We'll talk to you next time.